Hey guys, Zero here again with another unboxing kind of thing here. So most of you may know if you've watched some of my other videos, we have a Warhammer fantasy village or town that we've been building over several years, and I just finished my watermill project that I've had on the table for a while. We have another project on the table, or on the bench I should say, the workbench. It's a fortune teller's house, and when I built it, we built it, you know, with a specific way. We wanted a specific look for it. So my buddy Joe and I, when we were designing it, we just kind of like, you know, I gave him some drawings and some doodles, and I said, okay, let's try to get this form, and it worked out. It's cool. You know, we've got it on a 1x1 square in one of the corners, but we've got fencing around it. And I was kind of thinking, like, I'd like to add something inside the fencing, because at the time with regular Warhammer Fantasy battles, I was like, really no units are going to go in that building or on that area, because you know, you're not going to get a regiment of guys. With Age of Sigmar, you can now, you know, you can get guys, because it's more skirmish, you can get guys in and out of all the nooks and crannies. But I had thought maybe get something to kind of embellish the yard a bit. It was just an open space. So I looked online and I found this MDF piece of terrain. Came from England, United Kingdom's Nottingham. Is it Nottingham? Yep. Nottinghamshire. Okay, that's cool. But yeah, I wanted to just, like I said, get something to embellish the yard. So I picked up this cart, like a gypsy cart. I can't remember what they're called offhand. Interesting. Cardboard packaging. This MDF stuff is just like sheets of wood that are laser cut, and then you pop those out, and then you glue it together, and voila, you have your piece. So it looks like maybe one sheet of MDF, but you see, you've got all the little parts. You've got all the parts there, and you just glue them together, and then you get this when you're done. It's from Gaslamp Alley, Victorian Sci-Fi Street, large type Gypsy, Caravan. And I thought it would look really cool in the fortune teller's yard. You know, kind of, she was a gypsy, she was roaming around, finally settled into this town, and or got stuck there, whatever the case may be. But that's her old gypsy cart. Now she's got a house. So a little bit of history for our characters there. Let's pop this open and see what the piece looks like. If you've seen some of my other terrain videos, I've talked about these things, like the infinity stuff and other stuff like that. I'm not the biggest fan of this stuff. I'm not. Only because the way it comes together and what you need to put it together. So we got a quick little brochure, what next, and you know what to buy. Not bad. That's cool. So it looks like there's the roof. It's actually laser cut from cardboard. This sheet is actually cardboard. I don't, not sure what the rest of that stuff is on there, but you can see the little laser design etching. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, I guess you don't have to burn very much to get through cardboard. So you just, like I said, you pop it out. This looks like it's just got the perforated lines, so you bend it where the lines are. And there you go. I'm not sure I'm cool with a cardboard roof. But you know what? It's a standing piece of scenery, so it doesn't need to be... it's not going to be handled too much. It's actually going to be glued onto the base with the house. So here's the core, the board. I apologize for the focus. So my biggest thing, like I said, is popping these things out of these trees. It gets difficult, so you may have to use your X-Acto to kind of score them out. There's the reverse side, so you can see there are lines. So the laser did get through to a degree, but you still have to do some work to get these pieces out. And like honestly, I'm afraid these wagon wheels are so fine. They're so fine in detail. I'm afraid I'm going to snap those. Which, it is what it is. I can get wagon wheels, but that is pretty small. I don't know. I couldn't find any resin ones or plastic or anything like that. I couldn't find anything else of this for this type of Caravan. You know, so my last option was the MDF. So I went with the MDF, but I'll be honest, if I was given a better option, I would probably went with something of better material. Even plastic card. These are these plastic cards, you can work with it, you know what I mean? Like this stuff you have to be very careful with. And these are like little bits that fall out from the spaces that are cut, like the windows and stuff. There's a space in the wagon wheel here that's cut, but it didn't come all the way out. And it's so thin, I'm afraid to even punch that out. Alright, that one just came out, that little wedge. So, this is not the first wood project I've had, like not the first MDF project. I've actually, if you watch my watermill, if you take a look at the video with the spinning watermill, that wheel from the watermill is actually one of these kits I found in Europe. It was just a water wheel, 1/28 scale, or 28 millimeter, and then I put it on there. So, you know, and I've done like shipping crates and stuff like that for Infinity. Again, I'm not a fan of this type of kit, but I'm gonna do my best to get it together, and then maybe I can do a video if you guys are interested. I can do a video showcasing this kit once it's done, and the Gypsy, the fortune teller's house, you know, because I still have to paint that. I've got a base, you know, primer it, paint it, and get it ready, and then throw this on there. So pretty cool looking little kit. Like I said, it's just to embellish the house, really, is why I got it. And it wasn't too expensive. I want to say it was like 12-13 bucks or something like that shipped. It couldn't have been that expensive, I know, because I was also looking for something affordable, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money on another piece of scenery that honestly was going to be real static. It wasn't going to be, you know, it's not like we're going to move it around and whatever, it's going to stay. Yeah, it's actually like 10 bucks or 12 bucks, something like that. Yeah, so not too bad, but we'll see. I'll put it together, maybe do a showcase video after. All right, guys. Okay, guys, so I finished the kit, the Gaslamp Alley Victorian Sci-Fi Streets Gypsy Caravan. A couple things to note. As you can see, these instructions are really, really small. The actual instructions themselves are extremely small. I'm practically blind, man, so I had to use like a magnifier just to read the text, man. You know, and one thing to note, that part right there, it's the toolbox, you know, just kind of where it's at. The instructions say go on ahead and lay, you know, put that in there and whatever. I figured it went to those two little slots right there, the 2 dots, and that is where it wound up going. So that's the back of the cart, but where it looks like it actually sits is the front of the cart, because there's that little, hang on, that little thing, whoop, sorry, that little thing right there looks exactly like that right there. So I was like, okay, does it go in the front or the back? It actually goes in the back. While pulling, you know, getting the pieces out, I actually broke one of those. It's like where you harness the horse, which is fine. I mean, it sucks that I broke one, and it's a really thin piece, but you know, this cart's going to be stationary on a piece of terrain, you know, so it you know, it could lend to any bit of history or whatever. You know, maybe it broke, the cart broke down, and that's why she has it parked at her house, and she just doesn't go anywhere with it. But here's the kit. Let me get the instructions out of the way here. Here's the kit here. So as you can see, this is cardboard. This part here, these little panels here, the steps themselves are cardboard. You know, there's the piece there that I broke. You can see it goes a little further. Just the tip of it broke. Just the tip. Admittedly, this kit did go together fairly well for an MDF kit. Like there's a couple points though, I gotta be honest, when I was putting pieces together that I kept pressing here on the lower frame, and it just kept coming apart, and I had to keep re-gluing it because I just kept putting a little too much pressure. And it's just what it is with these kits, man. You put too much pressure on one part and it'll snap, you know, because it's just real fine MDF. And you can see these wheels, they are extremely thin. Nice detail, you know, but they're so thin, you have to be extremely careful when handling them, even pushing them out of the sprue, or not the sprue, but the, you know, the cardboard or the wooden tree that they're on. You know, I was afraid I was going to snap them. There's the toolbox there, and it's just 3 little pieces, you know, that make that up. But it did go together pretty easily. I don't have a lot of complaints about how it went together. Just like I said, just handling. You can see how it wobbles a little bit, but that's, again, it's okay because it's going on a piece of scenery. These frames underneath here, this piece right here, it actually holds the axles in place. The axles kind of slide around a little bit, so you kind of got to hold them together while you're gluing them. I used super glue for this whole kit. And, you know, you could use wood glue. You should use wood glue, but you could also use super glue because it seeps in and locks it all down. Now, this axle, the front axle, is actually designed to spin. You could actually turn it. You know, you've got all the pieces to couple in to actually, it actually will spin a little bit. But I didn't want it to move, you know, so I wound up gluing it down because, as I said, this is a terrain piece. It's not, you know, for anything other than that. So I wanted it stationary. I didn't want any of this stuff to move around. I even glued the wheels solid in place because I just don't want anything moving around. I want it to stay stationary, and I want it to stay solid on the kit. I was thinking about basing this separately, but it is going on a piece of terrain that isn't going to move. You know, it's going to be like this. It's on a board like this 1x1, and it'll wind up, it's going to sit in the corner. Not on this one specifically, but another building. It's going to sit in the corner and it's not moving. So it'll be like blocking terrain, or it'll block line of sight for other, you know, for models and stuff like that. And now that we have Age of Sigmar, and you move models in a skirmish fashion, it'll work out. It'll be pretty cool. Not a fan of this chimney, this little chimney right here. It's literally a thin piece of wood. I mean, I think they could have doubled up on this to give it a more realistic look, but it is what it is. I'm not going to change it. I'll just leave it there. And like I said, it worked out perfectly as a caravan, you know, for the fortune teller lady, Gypsy, you know what I mean? It's perfect. So good job, Gaslamp Alley, for coming up with the design. And like I said, I couldn't find it in any other resin or metal or plastic or nothing, so this is the way to go, and it worked out. So I think it's going to work out pretty good. I will try to get another video later of the house itself, maybe do some, you know, work in progress of that, and then I'll have this guy thrown in there, and I don't know, maybe paint it red, you know, kind of like the picture on the box, the red and green, or, you know, something else. I don't know, I'm not really sure. But there you go. That is the Gypsy Caravan from Gaslamp Alley. It's an okay kit. It's not terrible. You're gonna need a little bit, you know, you need a little bit of modeling skill to work with the wood. But if you've done it before, you're good to go. If not, I would take a little time. Take your time, you know, make sure the pieces come out real smooth. Sand some of the pieces down, the edges of the pieces as you pull them out of the sprues or the tree. Just like I said, take your time. All right, guys, thanks for watching.